Find out how it's affecting law enforcement tonight. I'm Jory Talley, and I'll have that story.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. A suspect accused of using flashing blue and red lights to pull women over early Saturday morning has been arrested after an intensive manhunt. WCBI's Allie Martin joins us live from Tupelo with the latest. Allie?
That's right. The suspect is 44-year-old Lewis Winston Scott. He is accused of posing as a law officer and trying to stop females during bogus traffic stops. In one case, the victim was assaulted. Scott was captured this afternoon after authorities tried earlier in the day to serve a search warrant at his Pontotoc County residence. He's accused of using flashing red and blue lights to stop two females during bogus traffic stops early Saturday. The first managed to escape when she noticed a knife the suspect was holding. A second victim was stopped on I-22 in Union County. She was kidnapped, taken to another location, and assaulted before being returned to her car. Authorities quickly honed in on Scott, who is a known sex offender. He was just released from prison for similar crimes committed back in 2000. Scott was not at home when the warrant was served, but he was captured in a wooded area a few hours later.
That's our main focus, is protecting the public, and I'm sure we're just, I know I am, and Sheriff Johnson is as well, just as relieved as they are.
It's a privilege to have surrounding agencies that work together, as Sheriff Edwards said, for the common goal of protecting the general public. And when you get one of these guys off the street, it is rewarding. It is upsetting when they're put back out.
Scott is being held here at the Lee County Jail. He was brought here this afternoon. He is charged so far with attempted kidnapping. He will face charges of rape and kidnapping in Union County. The car he allegedly used in the crimes in Union County is at the Union County Sheriff's Department. The Pontotoc County Sheriff's Office also helped out in the search for this suspect. For now, we're in Tupelo. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Allie, thanks so much. The search is still on for the suspect or suspects responsible for the murder of 36-year-old Priscilla Carter. The incident happened on July 31st at the Westwood Apartments on Lumpkin Street. Carter was found dead at the scene with a gunshot wound. Crime Stoppers of Northeast Mississippi, along with Tupelo police, are asking for the public's help to identify the person or people responsible. Anyone with information should contact the number 2 Crime Stoppers that you see there on your screen. An Amory man faces felony charges after a break-in in Amory. 37-year-old Stephen Eric Phillips is charged with grand larceny and breaking and entering in connection with an incident on Williamsburg Drive in Amory. His bond was set at $10,000 at last check. He was still in the Amory City Jail. A new law that took effect July 1st is changing the way law enforcement agencies handle property seizure in criminal cases. Our Jory Talley joins us in the studio with more on how it's changing the way they do their jobs.
When you're accused of certain crimes in Mississippi, law enforcement agencies may seize property they think was involved in criminal activity or bought with money from illegal activity. Now, there are new policies in effect to regulate how law enforcement sees that property from suspects.
When a suspect is served a notice of intent showing that law enforcement plans on seizing his or her property, investigators now have 72 hours to get a seizure warrant and affidavit signed by a circuit judge.
Once we get that, we forward it to our district attorney's office, and then they in turn start the seizure, and then they're responsible to send that seizure notice and the warrant to the Bureau of Narcotics, where we store it on a database.
The database is another new policy that requires the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics to keep record of all department seizures.
Once it comes online, anybody in the state of Mississippi can go onto that website, and it'll be a seizure website through the Bureau, and they can see throughout the 82 counties, you know, what each county has seized, whether it be property or money. It'll name the suspect. So I think it's going to bring on more discussion down the road.
Chickasaw County Sheriff James Myers says some of the new policies could impact many police seizures.
Some departments, depending on what district attorney they use, some of them are going to set minimums. So, I mean, if they set a minimum, let's just say they set it at $5,000, what that would mean is anything under $5,000, you would not be able to seize.
Meyer says it could also affect how they fund their department.
We have a special budget that we use for stuff that we seize, fine money, but I mean a lot of departments they use a lot of seizure money to fund their narcotic unit. So I think it's going to bring on a whole new ballgame.
But the real impact could come in the way his department runs its investigations.
If you can seize their vehicle, their house, money, when you get into their pocket, then you can really start hurting drug dealers. And I think this is going to set it back.
Defense attorney Kerry Jordan doesn't think it will and believes the new changes are just setting out a very detailed system of how the seizure process works for everyone.
It's still allowing the forfeiture to occur. It's simply asking that they be able to justify what they've done within 72 hours. And if they can't justify it within 72 hours, they shouldn't have done it.
Law enforcement still take custody of the property at the time of the arrest, but it doesn't get turned over to them officially until paperwork is done and 30 days go by. If a circuit judge's signature can't be tracked down within that 72 hours, then the seizure is null and void.
Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll turn things over now to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson for that. Keith?
Well, right now, Andra, we are looking at overcast skies across our area. A live look in Columbus. You can see those mostly cloudy conditions. Showers just south of Columbus towards Brooksville, Macon, Louisville, and Point South. Not too much action for most of us right now. Here's the latest on Harvey. The remnants right there, still a tropical system near Houston. Sustained wind at 45. Notice the rain shield. Over the next 24 hours, not too many changes here. The better rain chances tonight and tomorrow will just stay just to our south. We're currently in the 70s. We'll be hanging out here in the 70s this evening. Our rain chances start to go up as we get into Wednesday. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. Classes are back in session at Mississippi State. The city of Starkville, meanwhile, reconsidering how it regulates beer sales. WCBI's Parker King talks to bar and store owners to find out what they think about these possible changes on tap.
Starkville is yet to match the laws that were passed in 2012 regarding the alcohol content in beer. Now that they are trying to keep up with that, locals think that this will be a positive impact on business. Currently, Starkville's laws prohibit the sale of beer within 250 feet of places like churches, schools, and funeral homes. And even though state law allows the selling of beer of over 5% ABV, Starkville's doesn't. This new ordinance would change both.
I think it will improve businesses a lot. It will help alcohol sales, football season, everything coming along. It's going to help people that are looking for that more unique beer, for that more over 5%, outside of the Miller Lite, Blow Light, the traditional beer. They can come and get a, more unique beer.
Being a college town, many bars and stores see college students come through their doors. Those students often keep later hours, and the new ordinance extends last call from midnight to 1 o'clock.
It shows that they know that, a lot of their business comes from college. A lot of the businesses, our Starkville size doubles when school is in, so it's going to just help and shows that they're trying to, catch up with state.
Aside from selling, microbrewing is also an option.
A lot of local stuff around here's popping up, a lot of really good beers popping up, and I think Starkville will be a great place. I mean, college kids, come in town, it's a great place to try and get some beer, try and get some new stuff. They love trying stuff out, so it'll be a good spot for that.
Public hearings for this ordinance is on September 5th and September 19th. In Starkville, Parker King, WCBI News.
Coming up, students and staff at Columbus High School released balloons in memory of a student killed in a car crash over the weekend. More on this special remembrance just ahead. Who was killed in a tragic car accident. This morning before class started, students and faculty gathered outside to remember Taylor Harris. The 16-year-old lost her life early Sunday morning in a car crash on Highway 82. Columbus High students lit candles, they prayed, and then released balloons in the air to pay their respects. The people who knew her say Taylor had that type of smile that was contagious.
We've been mourning this loss. I told my wife yesterday that every time I think about it, I can't help but smile because she was the type of person that every time you saw her, she was going to say something or do something to make you laugh, to make you smile, to remember, to kind of remember your priorities and what things are important.
The passenger in the car, Kiara Hughes, is a fellow teammate, is in critical condition in a Memphis hospital. An Area Bank is helping area senior citizens protect themselves and their finances. Bancorp South hosted an elderly abuse presentation this morning. The audience picked up tips about understanding credit scores, common scams, and how to choose a good caregiver.
Everything, you know, financial, physical, medical, even in the home, you know, even with your own family members, you know, you get to a certain age and, you know, family members want to step in and, you know, just squander the money that they worked so hard for. And so this kind of gives them some ideas and what to look out for.
And today's seminar was held at Trinity Place Retirement.
Weather-wise in Starkville, 75 degrees, overcast. It's comfortable out there. Not too terribly active, but the rain chances go up later this week. Full forecast is next. Now that's about 2/3 of our average precipitation in Columbus and Starkville. That's just in 4 days, 2/3 of what we get here on average in an entire year. So some crazy amounts of rainfall. And notice all these little purple dots down here in southeastern Texas, Louisiana. That is where major flooding is going on right now, and that will continue for a while because it continues to rain in the actual center of Harvey right there. There, very heavy rain, and notice these little bands right there. Those are some stronger thunderstorms in the unstable side, or on the unstable side of the storm system, and some of those stronger storms may get up here later this week. Right now, we do have a little bit of light rain, basically making Louisville south. A lot of this is not really amounting to too much, but there's a little bit of light rain out there. We are in the 70s. Overcast. It's actually quite comfortable out there because of the cloud cover. You can see that cloud cover is looking back into the live with our cameras. Mainly cloudy, a few isolated showers possible. Our plan for tomorrow, 72 at 8 o'clock, and by noon and thereafter, upper 70s to low and mid 80s. We'll see how it all shakes out with the cloud cover situation. Perhaps a little bit cooler in the south, a little bit warmer in the north. Can't rule out an isolated shower or two tomorrow. The better rain chance, the better storm chance, the weather chance will be south of Jackson tomorrow, closer to the coast in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Beaumont, Texas. Now, as we get to Wednesday, probably Thursday too, the unstable area I referenced is going to be shifting north on the eastern side of the remnants of Harvey. We will have an east to southeast surface wind and mid-level winds coming on in from the southwest, and that is this little crisscrossing effect we're going to get almost unstable air here, and that will give rise to some scattered showers and storms, some of which could rotate and produce a tornado or two. That's always a concern on the eastern side of the landfalling tropical system. Now, tomorrow, as I mentioned, rain south of our area. So if you're going south to Jackson, New Orleans is going to be pretty wet around here. You may see some strong storms into your Thursday. Some of this rain lingers in Friday too. And we're lucky this will get out of here just in time for football Saturday. However, there could be some rain that lingers around this weekend, so it's not inconceivable that for some rain on Friday. So there's your 7-day forecast, a bit unsettled in the near term.
A Tupelo-based ministry is collecting tools to put to use helping victims of Hurricane Harvey in Texas. Volunteers with 8 Days of Hope will collect tools or donations through Wednesday. 2 trailers are set up on the east side of the Bancorp South Arena, and donations can be accepted throughout both days. Volunteers say the need is great and any tools would be a big help during their relief efforts.
Folks have been bringing checks by and money donations, so that's been great. We really do need whatever tools. If you go out in your back shed and you see you've got 5 hammers, go ahead and donate those other 4 that you're not using. But people are even going out and buying generators because we'll need a lot of generators.
8 Days of Hope will help homeowners who need to gut their homes in the aftermath of this record-breaking flooding. For more information on how you can help, go to our website, WCBI.com. Coming up, we're just days away now from kickoff of the SEC football season. We'll hear from Dan Mullen, Matt Luke, and Nick Saban next in sports.
Pacific School in Starkville, they do not want a repeat of how last season began. The loss to South Alabama through the 2016 season for a loop, but MSU doesn't have any plans of another Jaguar disaster.
It's just kind of a wake-up call last season. You can't really look over anyone. You can't look past any games. So, we're taking this game as seriously as we take any other one, preparing for it as seriously as we would prepare for anything else or any other opponent. So, we're not going to let it happen again, hopefully.
Different team, different everything. They were a good football team. I don't know that we played exceptionally well last year. That's on the coaches, of us making sure that we transition and put everybody in the right position to make plays. And, I haven't really thought much even discussing that.
At Ole Miss, the Rebels are ready for the first game of the Matt Luke era. Plenty of jitters, but also an abundance of eagerness to get on the field and get back to playing football in Oxford.
I'm just excited. I'm excited about the opportunity, excited about walking through the Grove. I'm excited about locking the vault, excited about representing my university and trying to put a team on the field that everybody's proud of.
We're looking to play some young guys. We're not going to look at that classification. I told several of them, if you're interested in the red shirt, go buy you one, put it in your closet. But we're not, because you're going to have to play, And the one thing I remind the coaching staff of, listen, don't look at them and think they're freshmen and don't put them in the game. If they prove in practice that they're ready to go in the game, don't be afraid. Let's put them in the game and let's go.
To Alabama, the Tide once again aren't taking it easy with their season openers for the 6th straight season. Nick Saban opens with a Power 5 team, and this one is historic. The first top 3 matchup to open up the season in D1 college football history, and that's exactly what Saban wants with the Bama-Florida State matchup.
You could really play a lesser opponent, not play really well, not really find out exactly where you are and who you are and what you need to do to fix it, where when you play a challenging team, I think you find out most of those things about your team in terms of their ability to execute, their psychological disposition. From a competition standpoint, there's a lot of things that you find out early on, and you certainly know what you need to go to work on and fix. Win, lose, or draw.
All right, let's run through every SEC game coming up this weekend. It actually, again, as I mentioned earlier, starts on Thursday with Arkansas taking on Florida A&M. The game will be on the SEC Network Thursday at 7 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. Missouri gets it all started on the SEC Network. Then 2 really good games before that. NC State, South Carolina, and Michigan, Florida both should be really good. And then the late afternoon games kick off. Southern Miss hosting Kentucky. It's a CBS Sports Network game. Mississippi State will be on the SEC Network at that same time against Charleston Southern. Georgia, 5:15 p.m. against Appalachian State on ESPN. Auburn will host Georgia Southern on the SEC Network at 6:30. And then your nightcap games, Ole Miss will be on ESPNU against the Jaguars of South Alabama. Florida State Bama will be on ABC. Vanderbilt take on Middle Tennessee on CBS Sports Network. And then the really late game, news came out tonight, LSU BYU has been moved from Houston to New Orleans to the Superdome. So it's basically a home field advantage for the Tigers. And then A&M UCLA Sunday, Tennessee Georgia Tech Monday. If you're not having any work-related things going on Friday through Monday. Sit back, relax. We got plenty of college football on the schedule for you.
All right, we can do that. We'll be back with the last look.
So far this season.
Yeah, let's
we
keep
may
it
be
going.
2-1. We'll see.
All right, we hope so. All right, that's the news at 6. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening.